you have spent months preparing. Build a strong application. Follow the guide for UK visas to the letter. You can already picture it. A new city, fresh opportunities, a fresh start. But just when you're ready to take the leap, the rules change. Did you know that the UK has raised the skilled worker visa salary threshold by 48%? It's gone from £26,200 to £38,700 in 2025. For many professionals, this means fewer sponsorships, tougher eligibility, and record high rejections. Companies that once hired international talent are now thinking twice. But here's the thing, Indians are still making it through. Just not the ones who leave it to chance. It's those who understand the system, play their cards right, and avoid the mistakes that costs others their visas. I'm Malvika, and today on NRI Shala, we're breaking down what works, what doesn't, and the unwritten rules you need to know so your UK dream doesn't slip away. Also, I have some pro tips for you, inspired by several experiences, so watch out for them. Think you know where most visa applications go wrong? Is it the paperwork or is it the interview? Well, guess again. Because the most common mistake NRIs make is while choosing the visa category. Surprised? I was too. And that can prove to be a really costly mistake. There are 4 types of visas to the UK: the skilled worker, the global talent, the innovator, and the high potential individual. NRIs hear about the skilled worker visa and think this is it. But what if I told you that's probably the biggest trap one could fall into? Let me break this down. The skilled worker visa, it looks simple on the surface, but here's the catch. You're basically chaining yourself to a single employer. One company, one job, zero flexibility. Talk about putting all your eggs in one basket. Take my friend from Bangalore, brilliant entrepreneur, multiple patents, spent months chasing a skilled worker visa. Months! Only to discover she was the perfect candidate for the Global Talent Visa. The Global Talent Visa is a game changer. It requires no employer sponsorship, allows maximum flexibility, and a swift path to permanent residence. For entrepreneurs, the Innovator Visa is the better option. If you have a novel business idea, this can be your ticket. And here's the encouraging news. The Innovator Visa used to require £50,000 in investment, but such is no longer the case. You'll still need an endorsing body to validate your idea, but this pathway rewards creativity over financial resources. This goes to show that the UK is more ready than ever to welcome experienced professionals. Then there's the high potential individual visa, a pathway that many overlook. This visa allows recent graduates from top global universities to work in the UK for 2 years without needing a specific job offer or sponsorship. The catch? The university must be on the UK government's pre-approved list. And unfortunately, most Indian universities don't currently make that cut. If you've graduated from one of the few qualifying institutions, this option gives you tremendous flexibility. It is seen that most NRIs automatically gravitate toward the skilled worker visa. They don't even explore the alternatives. Yes, the skilled worker route is common, but it's not always the best fit for your situation. Here's a pro tip. Keep a close eye on the UK's immigration salary list. Right now, the standard salary requirement for a skilled worker visa is £38,700 per year. That's the baseline. But here's where it gets interesting. If your job appears on that ISL, you might qualify with a significantly lower salary. And remember, since immigration policies change frequently, always refer to the official UK government website for the latest requirements. Now let's tackle the biggest misconception I hear about UK work visas. No, you cannot apply for a skilled worker visa yourself. Only a licensed employer can sponsor you, and for that, They need to issue a certificate of sponsorship. I've seen this happen too many times. People interview with UK startups, receive enthusiastic job offers. They resign from their positions in India, only to discover their new employer isn't on the register of licensed sponsors. Not every UK company can sponsor visas. They must hold a sponsorship license, which costs them time and money to maintain. Even large established companies sometimes don't have this license if they rarely hire internationally. Here's what this means for you. Before getting deep into job discussions, politely ask, is your company currently a licensed sponsor for skilled worker visas? Notice, I said currently. Licenses expire, and some companies let them lapse. If they're licensed, they'll be needed to issue you a certificate of sponsorship, which is essentially a digital document with a unique reference number. Remember, this is not a physical certificate. It's an electronic record in the immigration system. Here's a pro tip. You can verify any company's sponsorship status yourself by checking the UK government's register of licensed sponsors. It's publicly available online. This simple 5-minute check could save you months of wasted effort pursuing a job that can't actually sponsor your visa. With the job offer and sponsorship secured, you might think the hard part is over. But believe me, the trickiest part is actually yet to come. Those financial requirements for a UK visa? They trip up so many qualified applicants, it's not even funny. The UK government needs to ensure that you are financially secure when you arrive. Unless your employer has your back and certifies maintenance on your certificate of sponsorship, you've got to show at least £1,270 sitting in your bank account. And not just on application day. That money needs to have been there for 28 consecutive days before you apply, with the statement dated within 31 days of your application. Sounds straightforward, doesn't it? 28 days, £1,270. Let me tell you, it's not. I've seen dozens of brilliant professionals get flat out rejected because their funds dipped below the threshold for just one day during that 28-day period, or because they didn't time their application correctly with their bank statement. Here's what you do. At least 28 days before applying, drop the required amount plus a buffer into your account. Then, and this is crucial, don't touch it, not even a penny. Use a completely different account for your daily expenses during this period. One more thing you need to know. The UK Home Office is pretty old school about what counts as funds. They want traditional bank statements from recognized banks. Your crypto portfolio, investment accounts, property you own, they don't care. Those will satisfy the requirement. Here's a pro tip. Ask your employer if they are willing to certify maintenance on your certificate of sponsorship. Many larger companies do this for new hires, which waives the financial requirement entirely. This option isn't advertised widely, but it's completely legitimate and can simplify your application. Now, for the technical details that cause countless rejections, those job codes and salary mismatches. Did you know every single job in the UK has its own standard occupational classification code, or SOC code? And when your employer creates your certificate of sponsorship, they must specify exactly which code matches your role. This might sound like boring paperwork, but trust me, using the wrong code is a one-way ticket to rejection. Imagine this. You're a web developer, but in your application, the employer has used the code for a software developer. Seems similar enough, right? Wrong. The Home Office will immediately question whether your job is legitimate and may reject your application on the spot. Here's what you need to do. Work hand in hand with your employer to make absolutely sure they're using the correct code. The official SOC code list is available online. Check it yourself. Don't be afraid to have a conversation with your HR department before they submit your certificate of sponsorship. This is your future we're talking about. And one more crucial detail. Those salary figures must match exactly between your employment contract, the certificate of sponsorship, and visa application. Even a tiny difference can trigger extra scrutiny or get you rejected. Double check everything. Here's a pro tip. Request a draft of your certificate of sponsorship details from your employer before they submit it officially. While they can't give you the actual certificate until it's approved, they can share the information they plan to include. This gives you a chance to spot and correct potential issues before they become permanent problems in the system. Beyond the application itself, certain required documents catch many NRIs by surprise. First up, the tuberculosis test. Yes, you heard me right. If you're applying from India for a visa longer than 6 months, you must provide a certificate proving you're free from active TB. And no, this is not negotiable. And you can't just walk into any hospital or diagnostic center. The test must come from a clinic specifically approved by the UK government. You know what happens all the time? People schedule their visa appointments without realizing this TB certificate takes ages to process. Plan for at least a month before your application date. Next up, degree verification, or the ECCTIS assessment. This basically confirms your Indian degree matches UK standards. However, and this is important, the ECCTIS is not a mandatory assessment. You only need this if you are entering a regulated profession like healthcare or engineering, or if your employer requests it. In some cases, it can serve as an alternative to English language tests, but don't assume this. Make sure to check with your employer before spending time and money on this assessment. Planning to work in healthcare, or education, or social services? You likely need a police clearance certificate from India too, even if they don't ask for it. Having one can strengthen your application. Just use the Passport Seva Kendra's website to apply. Here's a pro tip. Create a dedicated document folder right now, both physical and digital copies of everything. And don't just stick to the minimum requirements. Include documents you think might be helpful, even if not required. Previous employment letters, professional certifications, English language test results, all of it. Trust me, it's way better to have the documents and not need them than to be anxiously searching for paperwork at the last minute. Understanding the British approach to immigration can significantly improve your chances of success. You see, the Indian administrative system thrives on personal connections and face-to-face interactions. But the UK system? It's a whole different ballgame. It's almost entirely digital and obsessed with consistency. Those personal connections that work wonders in India, they hold virtually zero weight in the UK. Also, the communication style of British correspondence is almost a foreign language itself. When they write that something may affect your application, what they're really saying is, this will almost certainly cause a rejection. You've got to read between the lines and pay close attention to this type of language in all communications. The UK system is also incredibly suspicious, in the nicest possible way, of course. They place enormous emphasis on independent verification. They'll cross-check your information against records from previous travel, tax documents, and yes, even your social media in some cases. According to news reports, the border and immigration officials across different countries have been keeping an eye on the social media profile of all the applicants intending to fly to foreign shores. Consistency across all platforms and applications is absolutely crucial. Here's a pro tip. Adopt the evidence-based mindset when preparing your application. For every single claim you make, ask yourself, what document proves this beyond doubt? Let's say you're applying for a skilled worker visa, and your job requires 3 years of relevant experience. Your employer's letter stating that you have worked with them for 3 years in web development might seem perfectly fine. But what if the Home Office asks for more proof? Be ready with monthly payslips or a reference letter covering the period. This approach aligns perfectly with the UK's documentation-heavy, rule-based system, making your application bulletproof against intense scrutiny. If your application is approved, Congratulations! Gear up for the next big chapter in your life. But if refused, don't panic. Request feedback through a formal inquiry. Unlike some countries, the UK often provides specific reasons for rejection. Address each point methodically and reapply. Many successful visa holders are approved on their second attempt. Here's a pro tip. If reapplying after a rejection, include a cover letter addressing the previous refusal grounds and explaining what you've corrected. While not required, this direct acknowledgement shows good faith and can help overcome the scrutiny that reapplications face. Remember, navigating the UK visa system successfully isn't about luck or connections. It's about preparation and understanding both written and unwritten rules. The difference between success and rejection often comes down to attention to detail and preparation. If you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Share it with other NRIs planning their journey to the UK. Until next time, this is Malvika, guiding NRIs across and beyond borders.